Hey guys, so I am doing the Scrapdaworld, Tmika's Scrapdaworld here on YouTube, her Rolodex, Memory Decks card swap. And I just wanted to, I'm starting to wrap this up, and I thought, oh shoot, by the time I wrap it up, some of this stuff is going to be glued, so I can't show it. So I thought I would film a couple of segments. The first one just showing you the actual card, and then I'll come back and show everything like all wrapped up and how it's going to go out to Tmika. So this is the Rolodex card I wound up doing, that I wound up making, and I did like a little shaker using the Tim Holtz Alterations die, fresh brewed, and yeah, so I really like the way this turned out. I thought it was really cute. I took a little miniature spoon and I just did some alcohol inking on it, just to kind of make it match the colors I have going on in here. And the paper pad that I use is one that I got I think it was last summer, from Michael's, and it's the Craftsmith Love You a Latte paper pad, and I'm just now getting around to using it. So I used quite a bit of paper from that, and everything came from it basically, so except for the foil paper, that's it. And then what you had to do is you had to have a couple of elements on it. So I made the little shaker card, and then I have the spoon, and then you had to have a sentiment. I cut the sentiment out of the paper as well, and then I just kind of backed it with some of the paper. I used a stitch circle die in the background too. I traced everything with the Gold Deco foil pen right here, and yeah, I think that's it on that. And then on the back, you were supposed to put your YouTube name. I did use Tmika's stamp set from, oh my gosh, I can't even remember the name now of where it's from. It's horrible that I can't remember the name. But anyway, this is the stamp set. I'll try to remember and put the link down below. This is great for doing swaps. I'm going to be using this in the actual packaging too. But anyway, there's a little YouTube icon stamp right there, so I thought that was really cute and I wanted to use it. So you had to have your YouTube name. You have to have your favorite style on here. I don't have a favorite style. I'm very eclectic. I like doing everything from industrial grunge to shabby chic and everything in between. I really just don't have a favorite style. I'm such a fan of everything, so I really can't pinpoint that down. Also, some $5 item that you would like. Right now, the only thing I'm like that's in that price range that I'm really wanting to buy and going out and buying a lot of right now are the Traveler's Notebook inserts. So that's why I have that there. And then she wanted to know your state. So my state is Florida. The stamp set that I used here is, so it says, but first coffee. I think that, I can't find it right now. I think that is the little stamp set from Hobby Lobby. There's a little coffee stamp set, and I think that's where that's from, as well as the little coffee beans here. So, then I just used some of the Michael's washi tape here to line the bottom of the card, because again, I used the journal spot from that Love You a Latte paper pad to put on the back side of my card here. So all my Rolodex cards look like this, and I really like how the top, also the coffee cup top, it kind of sticks out a little bit on the top because it acts like as the tab. A lot of these, you know, Rolodex cards have tabs and stuff, and I like how the coffee cup top is basically like your little tab when you're doing your little flip through. So anyway, I like the way that turned out. And then what I'm doing is I'm just wrapping it in some very shedding glitter tissue wrap. This, I wish now I hadn't used this, but I already had. And I even put a workable fixative over this to try to calm down some of that glitter fallout, but there's a lot of fallout from this glitter. So But anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm putting like these little paper rosettes. I'm just gluing that like so to the little tissue wrap. This is a Tim Holtz rosette that I cut again using that paper. This is just a little cutout from the paper pad. Stuck that there as a little icon, and I'm just sticking it right here. That way this can be like a little embellishment if somebody wants to reuse it. But I'm sticking it in here like this. And then I've made boxes out of my envelope punch board, and I'm folding these up and putting them into the boxes like this. So this is a finished box right here, and this is like a little belly band that I've made for it, and you can just slide that down, pull it out, and then this is how I've got the little Rolodex card packaged in here. This is kind of flimsy because, like I said, I didn't want to go crazy with the glue in case somebody wanted to reuse the little rosette. So, and then you just slide this little belly band back on here, and that's the closure. That one's kind of tight. So the belly band, what I did on that, and I'll pull out one right here because I'm still putting these things together. So what I did, here's the belly band. And what I did is I took the Michaels burlap trim that's frayed on the sides. I don't know if you can see on the inside there. That's what it looks like. It's just plain brown burlap. Because again, the colors in this are brown and pink. Brown, pink, and gold. Those are the main colors. Because again, I'm going with the coffee theme on this Rolodex card. And so I thought the brown burlap went with it too, because it kind of looks like a little coffee sack. So, so I used that as the base, and then I cut out the Tim Holtz Alterations. It's the long Sizzlet die, and I think it's called Lace Eyelet or Eyelet Lace, something like that. And I just used some of that Mercury paper, I think that's what it's called, by DCWV, and I just cut that out and then adhered it to that burlap, and then I put the flat back pearls on it, kind of in the center of where each of those little eyelet flowers are that run down the center. And then I just took some of this crepe paper shred that I had and just kind of circled it around here and made a little flower out of it and put like a little button in the center as my flower center. So yeah, so then that's what the little box looks like. I'm still putting together the rest of the package. There's a little goodie bag that's going to go in this, and then I'm going to put both the box and the little goodie bag into a little cellophane bag. So I guess I'll come back and show that when that is all done, but I did want to just kind of go over how I put the Rolodex card together. Alright, I'll be back. Hey everyone, so I finished up this swap package finally, and down to the wire, and I'm getting ready to mail this out tomorrow. It will be Wednesday. This is due Friday. Well, it's got to be postmarked by Friday, so I'll have mine postmarked just a couple days earlier, but just under the wire as usual. Okay, so where I left off from where I showed you where I was putting this together right here, what I wound up doing, I wanted to just kind of share how I did my packaging, and let me get these out of the way. So I really like how Tmika's stamps with the Cutting Cafe, that's what it was the Cutting Cafe. Here they are right here. These are great because they're perfect for swaps, and I've definitely used mine ever since I bought these a few months ago, but even so much the print's coming off of my little transfer sheet. But anyway, so I used a few stamps from this, and that's where this one came from. This Swaps for You is from that stamp set. So I just stamped it on a doily, and I used that bow from Downton Abbey that everybody was picking up from Tuesday morning, and I was fortunate enough to find that. I love this die, so I did a lot of die cuts for this swap. So I have to actually get new plates for my Sizzix because I kind of ruined it. On these dies right here, you really have to run it because they're intricate. Even with the Sizzix metal plate, I still had to like run this back and forth to get it, and I used my Spellbinders tool-in-one, and this was a lifesaver. This is more than paid for itself because that really helped out so much. So anyway, use that die. I just used staples to adhere this craft paper because again, I'm going with brown, gold, and pink, and this it's kind of the color theme throughout everything here. And the thing is, I used this DCWV paper roll that I had bought on clearance from Joann, and now I wish I would have bought every roll they had because I really love this paper, and I don't have any of that roll left. I used an entire roll for these 6 packages that I did, and I really wanted to use this in my planner, so I'm really kind of bummed I don't have any of this paper left. But anyway, what I wound up doing was just making some paper bags. And so some of the bags are a little wonky because I just got the hang of making the bag like on the last 2 that I did. So 2 out of the 6 came out okay. But these are like all irregularly sized. None of them are the same. Like this is a shorter bag. I mean, you know, there's no consistency with that because I was just making it, you know, as I was going here. But anyway, I didn't want to adhere anything with glue because I figured that, you know, the ladies who receive these swaps can reuse this paper. So that's why I just used a staple on each end to seal this bag up, because you can just use a staple remover and you won't tear the paper or anything except for where the staple holes are. And but this paper is just so pretty, I wanted the ladies to be able to reuse it if they wanted to. Hopefully this will survive during transit. It could get totally damaged in transit and it's a moot point, but that's where I went with that. That was my thought process anyway. And then on the back, I just used a stitched tag die to do what group I'm in. I used the Prima Press stamp to stamp this out, Scrapdaworld's Rolodex card swap. And then I used the same Prima Press stamp, only I used a script font to and after I did it, I was like, crap, I wish I hadn't used it because I really don't like it. I wish I would have stuck with this. But anyway, I put that I'm in group 4, group number 4. This is for Sassy Crafty Taz, and she actually has more letters and numbers after. I think it's 101 King, I think is after her name. I couldn't fit all that on here, so I was trying to cram names on here, YouTube names on here, and having an issue with this. With that, I mean. This To and From is also from that Tmika stamp set. So that came in a little handy there. So I did put who this is to, who it's from, and this is also my YouTube name. So yeah, real original with my YouTube name. Anyway, so this is the way I packaged it up. And here are all my packages. So this is the one that's going to I think Latasha, that's her name, Sassy Crafty Taz. That's going to Latasha, and then this one is going to Ginger Pana, I don't know how to say her name. And then this one is to Creations by Kimber, and I couldn't fit that on here with my Prima Press stamp, like Creations across was going off the tag, so I just put Kimber on here. And this one is going to Nancy Osborne. And, oh, and then I did just adhere all these with a brad. So, and then this one is to Craft and Lass. Now, the last one is for Tmika, and I thought I would just put hers together and show you what I did before I sealed it all up. So that's why I didn't wrap hers yet. So here's the bag that I made out of the paper. I just love this paper. I think it's so pretty. Beautiful. Like I said, I think it was made by DCWV. It was their home deck roll or something like that. So anyway, I just made this little bag. I used double-sided tape. I don't know if you can see on the inside here how I just kind of folded the seams in so that, you know, you didn't see like paper edges here, and then I just did like a mitered corner on the bottoms, just to kind of make it look like a bag. And here, I already shared this with you on how this was put together. So the only other things that I've done since then is my bag topper. I just used the doily. I used for Tmika's, I put the other stamp. The others say the swap's for you, but this one says the hostess with the mostess. And everything else is the same. These are those brads from Tuesday morning, the Doodlebug designs. That came from one of those packs. And then for my little goodie bag, what I decided to do, and you had to put like $1 or $1.50 item in here. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have something handmade, and then I wanted to have the item that we purchased as well. So what I decided to do is they had brad packs on clearance at Hobby Lobby for $1.20. So I just used a bunch of those. There's 3 sets of the diamond and heart ones, and then 3 sets of another style. I just didn't have enough for all 6 for it to be consistent. So I split them up 3 and 3. And but instead of using the packaging, you know, the cheap, cheesy packaging that it comes in from the manufacturer when you buy it, I wanted to make like a little special card up for it. So that's what I did here. And, oops, did it wrong. So what I did is I took white cardstock and I ran it through my Anna Griffin folder, and it's one of those that makes a 3-panel card. It's an embossing folder, and I just used the Andrea Gommol stamp set. I don't think I have that out here. Oh yeah, I do. This is the Andrea Gommol stamp set. It's called Happymail. I love this stamp set too. This with Tmika's makes great a great way to decorate your swaps and stuff. So, but I used a little girl here, and I used this little envelope too. So I stamped a little envelope right up here at the top in the corner because it just looked too bare. And then I just put stamped her in sepia. I don't have time to color anything, so I'm just leaving it as is. No coloring in. And this already took so long to put together all this, but anyway, so stamped her with sepia ink. That's the other thing though, the embossing folder did really cut my cards up. It chewed the heck out of the cards. So I tried it with different thicknesses, and I couldn't get it to where it wouldn't cut this cardstock. I think I just needed thicker cardstock, but I didn't have any. So here are the brad set. Here's the brad set. And then what I did is I reinforced the spine of each, or fold, each of the folds where this card folds, and with washi tape, craft tape. And then I just put the brads onto this card instead of the manufacturer card. That's basically what I'm trying to say. But I just love this design on this folder, and I wanted to use it. I haven't used it yet, and it was just, this was the perfect opportunity for me to do that. So I really like the way that this turned out. So anyway, I folded this over and adhered it, so when the girls want to, you know, take their brads out, they are going to have to rip the card out to get to it. Because basically this was to reinforce this back part that was, you know, really tearing apart, kind of like how the front is here. So, but I'd already done so much work at that point. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to redo this onto heavier cardstock now. It's just got to be done. So I just put it in one of these little cello bags like so. Put another little topper on here and just use staples to adhere it. No glue or double-sided tape, anything like that. And then I just used a couple of dies. This is like a stitched little flag with the cutout in the center, and then another little stitch tag. These are all Chinese knockoffs that I got from AliExpress or Amazon, one or the other. And then I just have this little gold clip that's holding it all together. So that's how that little package turned out. And then I wanted to hand make some stuff too. So I used another, this is a Spellbinders embossing folder. And I backed it on some craft card. And I made 3 handmade little flowers. This is another die cut back here that I cut out of glitter paper. This was another Chinese knockoff die, and oh my gosh, pain in the butt to do the actual die cutting. But finally figured out how many times it needed to go back and forth in the Big Shot. It was still a pain, but anyway, I did a lot of picking at it, and so finally got it done. So anyway, this is just a little die cut here in the back, that die in the back, and then there's some like funny eyelash trim yarn in here on top of a little center connector piece of a doily, and then a little paper flower from Prima that I actually used a script stamp on. So I script stamped all the flowers, and then I have like, I put this little stamen in the center of it too, then glued it all to the back. And yeah, so I like the way that turned out. And then I made 2 more, so I have 3 of these flowers, and I just adhere these. They're adhered with removable glue dots, so they shouldn't like totally tear apart when you're taking them out of the package. So that is how this all came together, and I'll put a link down below to Tmika's channel so that you guys can check out everybody's projects once they're all done. I hope my swap partners like what I did, and yeah, I'm going to sign off. Thanks a lot, you guys.